It was a calm summer morning on June 30th, 1908. In the remote wilderness of Siberia, where the sun rises like fire over endless taiga, hunters and reindeer herders suddenly looked up. A streak of light, brighter than the sun, cut across the blue sky. Moments later, the world exploded. A blinding flash illuminated the heavens, followed by a shockwave that traveled hundreds of kilometers. Trees were flattened like matchsticks. People were thrown to the ground. The sound was heard more than 1,000 kilometers away. And yet, there was no crater, no meteorite fragments, nothing but scorched earth, leveled forest, and a lingering, unexplainable glow in the sky that would last for days. This is the story of the Tunguska event, the largest explosion in recorded history that still has no definitive explanation. Was it a meteor, a comet, a black hole grazing Earth? Or could it have been something else entirely, something beyond science? The first strange thing about the Tunguska explosion was that it took nearly 20 years for scientists to reach the site. Russia was in turmoil, revolution, war, chaos. So the mystery remained buried under fallen trees and frozen soil. When Leonid Kulik, a Soviet mineralogist, finally led the first expedition in 1927, what he found defied logic. There was no impact crater. Instead, he saw 80 million trees lying in a circular pattern, radiating outward from a central point. But the center, the supposed ground zero, contained standing trees, stripped of branches, charred but upright, as if blasted by heat rather than shock. Kulik believed it must have been a meteor explosion in the atmosphere, perhaps 5 to 10 kilometers above the ground. He spent years searching for fragments, metallic debris, meteorite stones, any trace of impact. He found none. The Tunguska site became an open wound in science, a question without an answer. In the decades that followed, dozens of theories emerged, some grounded in science, others in speculation. The meteor hypothesis. Most scientists agreed the explosion came from a meteor or comet entering Earth's atmosphere at 27,000 km/h. The airburst released energy equivalent to 30 megatons of TNT, nearly 2,000 times more powerful than the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima. But this didn't explain the missing crater. If it was a meteor, where was the rock? The comet theory. Others argued it was a comet nucleus, composed mostly of ice. As it entered the atmosphere, it vaporized entirely before hitting the ground, explaining the lack of debris. The glowing night skies observed in Europe afterward might have been caused by comet dust scattering sunlight. The natural gas hypothesis. Some Soviet scientists proposed that methane gas from beneath Siberia suddenly ignited, a massive natural explosion, but no geological evidence supported it. The alien theory? Then came one of the most controversial ideas, that the Tunguska explosion was not natural at all. In 1960, science fiction writers Alexander Kazantsev and later Felix Ziegel proposed it might have been an alien spacecraft exploding or crash landing. Locals' reports of a fiery cylindrical object with metallic light only fueled the mystery. Some even suggested it was a failed attempt at communication, or worse, an accident from a civilization beyond our stars. A century later, scientists returned, not with shovels and notebooks, but with satellite data, computer simulations, and nuclear-level analytics. Modern studies confirmed that the blast's energy was between 10 to 15 megatons, concentrated in an airburst 5 to 8 kilometers above ground. Simulations matched eyewitness reports of a second sun and a heat wave that burned faces miles away. Then, in 2007, a team from the University of Bologna examined Lake Checo, about 8 kilometers from the supposed epicenter. The lake, perfectly circular and unusually deep, might have been the impact crater of a fragment that survived atmospheric entry. Sediment samples, however, gave conflicting results. Some showed traces of cosmic material, others didn't. Even today, Lake Checo remains a 50-50 mystery, natural or extraterrestrial. In 2013, the Chelyabinsk meteor exploded over Russia, smaller than Tunguska, but similar in nature. Its airburst shattered windows and injured 1,500 people, proving that space rocks can indeed detonate midair with immense power. So, maybe Tunguska was just a bigger version of that. But something about the symmetry of the trees, the radiation traces, and the absence of definitive fragments keeps the door open for doubt. More than a century has passed, yet the Tunguska explosion remains the world's greatest unsolved natural event. It changed how we think about asteroids, space defense, and the fragility of our planet. But deeper than that, it represents something more human, our fascination with the unknown. Every theory, every expedition, every debate reveals not only our hunger for truth, but also our quiet fear that some mysteries are not meant to be solved. Maybe it was a comet, maybe an alien craft, or maybe, just maybe, it was a cosmic warning, a reminder that Earth's skies hold secrets we're not yet ready to understand. As one survivor once said, the sky split in two and fire came down, the Earth trembled, and I thought it was the end of the world. Was it? Or was it just the beginning of a mystery that still echoes through time?